That was it?
Well, there's another door on
Boom,
the other
boom,
side.
boom, boom. Yeah.
That'll jump you.
Probably like a warp zone or something.
This game's
Warp
stupid.
zone.
This game's stupid.
This game's really dumb.
Welcome to a Japanese bowl of dude soup. It's just full of panties, chock full of them.
That'd be ramen.
No, panties.
What?
They're ground up and then pressed into noodles.
Lawrence, I've been to Japan. They have ramen there.
And I've seen a lot of anime, so.
No one said they've seen a lot of panties.
That's true.
Well, because it's true.
We're playing, for our audio-only listeners, we're playing the hit new release Umihara Kawase.
For the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If goddamn.
We're playing until James gets a game over because there's no continues in this piece of shit.
Man.
Because it's from 1995. I'm just throwing a number out. I don't know. Whoa!
That's cool.
Nice moves.
Okay, so when you hold down, it pulls it in.
Oh man.
I always like to relate things to when Mystery Men came out. So I would say.
Yeah, it's circa Mystery Men.
This is -5
negative 5 mm.
BMM.
BMM.
PM.
BM. Before Mystery Men.
Oh.
MM.
BMMM.
BMMM.
Wait, it was negative though, so it'd just be 5.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm just.
Yeah, what
I'm
happened?
gonna be tired.
Watching Mystery Men.
Yeah,
Pretty late.
up late. Oh, there's a door.
You gave me shit for that earlier. Anyway.
James,
your
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What band that hasn't yet done a James Bond theme song should do a James Bond theme
Garbage.
song?
That's a good
That's
answer.
close but wrong. The answer is Tears for Fears.
Oh.
You do realize that Garbage did a James Bond theme song, right?
Yeah,
They did?
I haven't seen all the Pierce
world is not
Brosnans.
Ooh.
Madonna.
Oh, that's good.
Are you doing an ad read right now, or are you
nope.
just saying things?
Just
Oh, okay.
asking.
I never know when the podcast is starting, or I should stay quiet.
I said the thing. That means it started.
Oh, we're actually starting.
Here's
Okay.
the thing.
I don't know.
The thing about the James Bond theme song
Been on
is that
77 podcasts.
it can't be someone who's bigger than James Bond. Like, it shouldn't be someone who's like
Paul
pulling in-
McCartney did one though.
Yeah, I know.
He was way bigger than James Bond.
Panties.
But he did it. It was not Paul McCartney, not the Beatles.
I think even Paul
with
McCartney's an
Wings.
individual. Was it
What,
credited to
what are
Wings?
your other favorite songs by them?
Yeah, it's just that one.
Yeah, so that's.
They didn't know that at the time.
The problem, you get into a problem with James Bond when you have artists that are bigger. So like when Jack White and Alicia Keys did it, it sounded more like just a new Jack White song than it did sound like a James Bond song. And I think that's a problem.
Okay.
And when Madonna did it, she just did her new single and then said it was a James Bond song, but it wasn't.
You need some thirst behind the artist. They have to come to James Bond, not have Bond.
If
go
you have
to
a
the
really
artist.
talented artist, like Adele is a pretty huge name, but she still made a song that I think conceded to Bond. Anyway, great podcast.
Yeah.
Play a new game.
I guess we're moving on from the hit game Umihara Kawase.
Just keep talking. Bring up something. I'll find something.
We gotta let's get on to our discussion topics. That's okay. They're doing work back there.
That's
no problem.
fine. Yeah.
So we got some hard hitting topics this week. Ooh, Saint Seiya. Fuck
You-
yeah.
you
Install
take-
that shit.
What is this game?
I don't know.
Yeah, man. We're going deep and hard.
Gross.
Yep.
Anyway, what are we
click on
talking
your
about?
library and install it.
It's pre-purchased.
What are we talking about?
Oh, it's not out yet. We got a couple of hard-hitting games journalism's topics this week.
Yep.
This is normally something I don't like to dabble into because I think it's pretty incestuous, but I think this week we can some pretty interesting
That seems pretty cool.
interesting
Save that one
takeaways.
for later.
First off,
No.
I know. Yeah. I know that. Listen, I know we're all very concerned about censorship in the media because we censor ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
We bleep that.
Oh, bleep it.
That just got bleeped.
Sorry. Sorry, everybody, but we're bleeping everything. And all games are gone forever
Good.
because the censorers are getting their way. It turns out that Dead or Alive Extreme 3, the very valid, very important video game, is not coming out in the Americas.
What?
I'm sorry.
Why
It's
not?
They're not localizing it.
Sorry, your birthday's ruined.
Yeah, my birthday's over. I didn't even started.
The hourly 4chan thread of screenshots from Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is going to have to shutter because this game is gone forever. I'm trying to find... You can't link to
Hold on.
replies on Facebook, so
Real
that's
quick,
cool.
This is a censorship thing, or this is just this game isn't going to sell for shit in North America thing?
Okay.
Okay, elaborate.
I will elaborate. People like to use those terms interchangeably. Localization and censorship are apparently the same thing. So is doing a market study and figuring out you're not going to make your money back. That's also censorship. But in this case, Dead or Alive Game on Facebook wrote, and I'm going to read this verbatim because the translation's kind of adorable. Do you know many issues happening in video game industry with regard to how to treat female in video game industry? We do not want to talk those things here, but certainly we have gone through in last year or two come to our decision. Thank you.
What?
You must treat female how female want to treat.
Yes.
Oh.
Which is to say, oil them up, slam them in a small bikini, and make them like wrestle each other. So essentially, like the changing landscape of games culture in the West, and I'm interpreting from their bizarrely translated message, has led them to decide that it's not smart to release a game that is purely about staring at like very, very scantily clad women. So what I find interesting about this is when basically like Tropes versus Women came out, and it kind of elevated that discussion of how women are treated in video games, or rather it
Discussion or shouting match?
I think most civil people treat it like a discussion.
I mean, you may have talked to a lamppost one night, but I don't know if it was really a discussion.
Well, so
'Cause you were
And they had some good points.
yeah, lamppost was had salient talks. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it did get pretty heated, and I think it got heated because a lot of people thought that. So the way I interpreted it is, damn. What are you installing? Oh, Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's
Do they not have a Dead or Alive game on Steam?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Go
So
for it.
the reason why I picked Snowcraft, it's a game that I remember, like, I played this in high school,
Okay.
and it's the holidays. And the teacher brought it up one time, and I was like, hey, I remember you.
As opposed to listening to the discussion and saying, oh, what's something that we could pick that may be relevant.
I've never had any interest whatsoever in Dead or Alive.
I played some of the last
So,
one.
Dead or
not
Alive, the
The-
fighting. Oh, just do.
Not a great
bikini.
game.
Oh, so hold on.
that?
Dead or Alive has a genuine fighting game franchise that started it all. That was actually probably superior to both
that wasn't
Tekken, and Virtua Fighter. I think.
Okay.
At least more fun. And then they kind of realized that boob physics were a thing, and
One
then
of the tags
prioritized
is
that,
female
and then people
protagonists.
sexualized it, and then they decided to go with beach volleyball, which not really a good volleyball game,
No.
and not really sexy either, but still.
Well,
Female protagonist, by the way.
There you go. Did it.
so
Jesus Christ.
So to kind of kick it back, the way that I always framed the discussion in my head, or how I interpreted the anger around it, was that one side was just like, hey, we would like more diversity. That's all we want. We're just tired of games that are about murder and fucking, like kill fuck games. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys can go play those.
Yeah.
Saying you guys generically, because women like them too. Because who doesn't like kill fucking? But somebody's like, I would like a game that's maybe not about kill fucking a little bit, maybe once.
Then go play it.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
So to me, it was just about that. It wasn't about trying to shout one game out of existence. It was just about saying, I would like something else in addition to that. And then the way I interpreted it is the side who, maybe the core gamer side or whatever, interpreted this as, you don't get to play your games anymore. You shouldn't enjoy your games because your games are wrong and bad. I never interpreted it that way, and I thought that was a bit of an overreaction. But in a sense, that's kind of what happened. I'm not going to say that that Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is valuable art and should come out, but it kind of sucks that because of the heated discourse, they are choosing not to release it here. To me, that's kind of like, I don't want to play it, but I think people should be able to if they want to, and it's kind of weird that a company would decide to avoid that entirely just because they're afraid of a little fire from the community, maybe? I don't know.
Well, and there's a pretty big competitive community around those games too. So what are they going to do? Are they going to play imports?
So yes, you can import it. You can still do that. And let me be clear. This is Dead or Alive Extreme. This is not the fighting game.
This is the volleyball.
This is the one where two women get on a
Still
floaty.
a competitive community.
Yeah.
All right, when you're trying to push that other girl off the
ass her off of the little floaty
in the
platform?
pool.
Okay, well that's an entirely different thing. I used to love beach spikers on the GameCube, which the women would embrace. It was 2-on-2 women's volleyball, and they'd embrace every time that they
check this out.
scored a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it from me for
They
Christmas.
smush their
We'll play
boobs
it.
together. Could they render that on the
So,
GameCube?
is there a chance, like, when there are so many other murder sex games that are coming out and doing really well? Here's another thing too. Another point on top of that point is, I feel like it's never discussed enough that, sure, there's a lot of murder sex games, but maybe that's because those are the games that are selling the best.
Absolutely.
Because it's tapping into something in human psyche that wants that kind of thing. So it's like, it's weird to come out and say, why do we have to have so many of these? Why does everything have to be this when it's a business? And it's like, because we're trying to sell the absolute maximum number that we can to the most people that we can. And so it's like, I get it. There should be other niche things, and there's certain people that transcended is a weird word, but like people that don't need a murder sex game necessarily to play. And so they can pick something else. They can pick a Minecraft story mode or whatever.
Don't look at my download list.
I just see. But it's weird that never really comes into the discussion that much.
Well, it does, and I think it's part of gaming's history. And you can, whether or not you choose to like, I don't know if it's a question of choosing to believe. Some people will say straight, yeah, just look at the images. That's fine.
Art.
Yeah, videos. That's good too.
Art.
So the narrative, as I understand
Not
it,
art.
is that the game crash happened, and prior to the game crash, games were marketed to families. Like flyers for home Atari systems showed the entire family around it playing. The game crash happened, and then when like the Nintendo Entertainment System was coming around, new games marketers were like, "Fuck, okay, we don't want to crash again, so we need to focus our marketing." And in the late '80s, the most profitable demographic to market to was 18 to 34-year-old male, and that's still true. For market forces beyond what I can comment to, there's a lot of what the fuck?
Is that real?
Looks like it. There's a lot of sociology studies about that kind of thing, but
Is that real?
now he's just so you guys know, Adam is Google image searching Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
And now
What the
there's
hell? Her
censored.
tits are standing straight up and she's laying down.
He's making it really difficult for
Yeah, to
audio
concentrate.
listeners to enjoy.
Oh, that's fine. So, well, this is another thing too. So we're looking at random images. This is, I believe, Crave Online. I always enjoyed blogs where they'd be like, random image.
Yeah, it's very
And then
goofy.
story.
Oh yeah, there's a mode in the game where you ask a girl off of a floating platform and her bikini pops off, and then she's like, "No, my giant glistening titties." It's a very good game. Anyway,
Censor.
so in the late '80s, suddenly games started to be marketed exclusively to young males, and then
Shadow Resolution.
they started to be developed for young males, and then that worked, so it kept happening, and then as markets tend. Instead of like trying to find a new market like Nintendo constantly does, everyone just kept marketing to the demographic they understood, which is the demographic they were programming for the last 2 decades. So it kind of enters this cyclical problem where games started to be made for young males, so that's the only market that's understood. So instead of trying to branch out and finding new people, kind of like Nintendo did with stuff like Nintendogs and Animal Crossing, less gender-specific stuff, or like The Sims, like those games tend to break into new markets because they're more widely approachable. There's still a very like robust and understood marketing system around making games for young males, and that's how you get giant titty games.
I just realized I only played this game because Master Chief was in it at one point.
Yeah, there was a Dead or Alive 4,
Sure.
the one for Xbox.
360, yeah.
Yeah,
Remember they made this into a movie and Eric Roberts is in that movie.
that movie is phenomenal.
And so is what's her face from
My Name is Earl.
My Name is Earl.
Yeah, she's in that. She plays Tina, actually.
Good podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not really James. Getting back to what you said, I don't know that it's that games are like that violence or sex universally speaks to people. I think it does. Like if you just look
mean,
at
it
storytelling
does.
throughout the
Human
ages,
history,
the
it
Iliad
does.
is kind of like proof of that.
Yeah.
It's just fucking and fighting and it's awesome. Shit.
See, that's-
Censor this shit.
the game did it for you.
Crashed immediately.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll try it again. I don't know. Who cares? So I think that there are elements of that will always appeal to everybody, but I think the gaming marketplace as it is now is kind of a byproduct of certain market decisions that were made nearly 2 decades ago.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing as like why Fast and the Furious is one of the biggest box office franchises of all time. It's action and
Diesel.
sex. It's
Oh.
like it is these things. It is the Iliad of the modern age. As horrible as that sounds. There's this thing in human nature.
Put that on the Blu-ray.
That
It's the elite of the modern age.
that
is
like
horrible.
they are just trying to appeal to that kind of like the thing that is in most human beings, this carnal kind of thing. And I get it. Like my bigger thing is what this ties back to with Dead or Alive Extreme 3 is like I have to wonder, is it really that they're worried about this backlash, or is it because they're looking at the numbers and they're saying This franchise is really like the money we're putting into it. It sounds like it's a better like a board of directors stock decision to say we're doing it because of this reason, which is a like a boy. It looks like it's.
This is a simulator where a bald black man beats up a woman because you can't fucking move.
He's like, "Are you learning?"
She's tough.
But it seems like there's a chance, and I'm just guessing. I'm throwing shit at the wall. It feels like maybe this is just their way of covering their butts of saying like the game ain't selling. The game ain't selling like it used to, so we're gonna double down on the market that we know is gonna buy it, and not worry about trying to pay any extra money to get it into a different market that may whatever. But instead of saying that like, oh, we're losing our market share or like numbers are dropping, they just go, oh, well, we're doing it because of this specific reason that they kind of identify. And then they also drum up excitement because it's like, oh, what's this thing that's being censored? I don't know. Maybe that's just me being wildly speculative.
I think it's almost more healthy to assign it to a financial reason.
I would say that too. That's what. If I were in their position and that were the actual motivating force, I would say like, we're not, because we've done the market study and we're not going to make any money. I mean, in adorable broken English, of course, but I don't know. I kind of buy into the fact that they don't want to be at the center of like an angry discussion about the ethics of games or whatever. I wouldn't want to be there. And if I think James, you're probably right in the sense that they look at it and they see the amount of money that they're going to clear by localizing and releasing it. And they're like, that is not a lot. Man, it is not worth the headache of even trying, like of becoming like the #1 on somebody's hit list, somebody's Tumblr blog or something like that. Like why would we invite that heat on ourselves when we're just gonna make like 50 grand maybe? So we'll just step away from it and put that money into the development of the next titty slap game. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You're selling these games way too short.
Also, I'm gonna challenge some people that may be all of the people that post in that fucking hourly 4chan thread.
You're one of them.
I just click on it. I don't post.
Buy hourly.
Yeah. I think that there's not a whole lot of difference between a game like that and a game like Gone Home. Like people like to really slam on Gone Home saying it's like a non-game, it's a walk around and read notes. Well, guess what? If you're just like hitting buttons to make a giant ass girl like jump across floaties on a pond, you're not really playing a game either. And I think you should be honest with yourself about that.
Well, how's that not a game?
I mean, it's a game, sure, but it's the same kind of experience. Like it's not really a deep and complex mechanical system. Like Gone Home, people like to call it not a game, but I think it's as non-game as Dead or Alive Extreme, is what I'm saying.
So my problem with Gone Home was always that at least during its initial release, they allowed people to market it, because I don't think they had much of a marketing team, but they allowed the community to market it as something that it was not. It has a scary title screen. It all the lights are off in this whole big house. It makes it feel like there's a mystery or some sort of...
That's the whole point.
But that's not the game.
That is the game. The game is, you go there, you think it's a horror game, you think it's, I don't want to spoil it, this game that came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Please
it's
do.
a bait and
that
switch.
you can beat in about an hour and a half.
But that's my problem with it. Is feel
But
like
it wasn't.
it's a bait and switch.
Was it marketed as such by the community or by the developer?
Well, the developer had no marketing. There was
had
no
the title screen as they're marketing this ominous haunted house.
Yeah.
Man, I think there's something broken in my head, because I heard like Gone Home's pretty good, check it out, and then I just bought it and played it on Steam. So I didn't know it was supposed to be propped up as a horror, and I never got that sense at all. Like sometimes the light flickered and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But it was never spooky to me. Like I never ever got the sense it was intended to be, oh Jesus Christ.
I think probably for 30% of the game, I considered that it was probably a horror game.
I've heard that from a lot of people,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm willing to bet that I'm just something didn't fire right in my head.
So that's why I think a lot of the criticism of Gone Home doesn't necessarily come by saying, oh, it's not a game. I think it's by like, oh, well, they made me think it was this game, but it's not this kind of game. If it said visual novel or something, you know, or exploratory novel in the description of the game, then I'm sure most people wouldn't have had issues with it.
And people had qualms with the price because it was $20 at release, and
Yeah.
maybe you're going to spend 2 hours playing it, and like you said, a lot of people thought that you didn't do much. I liked Gone Home. Personally, I enjoyed it.
I did too. But also, I like games like Myst. Like, I like walking around, reading things, and clicking buttons.
Yeah. Well, going back to your point earlier too, like I would never look at something like that and go, "You're not a video game," because of course it's a video game. I don't know. I mean, like, you know, it's not a video game, a movie, a book. I'm just saying, like,
Well,
just
is your visual novel a video game?
sure.
Does it choose your own adventure?
It doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's still a video game. It's
Well,
interactive. You're
Adam,
interacting with a thing.
What
I'm
about
not-
the DVD menu on Die Hard on DVD? Because you click through and you have to hit some things to make the video play that you want.
You know what? Sure. Your point's valid. That's a video game.
I'm being ultra reductionist. I'm just curious where you draw the line.
What about when Zack Snyder?
Well,
pops in
I'm
during
interacting with this
Watchmen?
bottle right now. I mean, this isn't. I'm just saying, like, it's a piece of visual entertainment.
Can I play that bottle after you?
Yeah, I got ups on that bottle.
You don't want that bottle. You don't want that bottle.
You haven't earned it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Whatever.
so-
I wasn't going to play Extreme 3 anyway.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people that weren't going to play it regardless of whether or not they thought it was offensive or they just have no interest in Dead or Alive.
But now
Extreme
we
3.
want it.
No.
Now we've got a
Now we
hunger
can't
for
have
it.
it.
That's what I don't
It's
care.
being taken from
I have,
can
I
do
have
this.
this. I have this right now.
Yeah, I can jerk off to this, no problem. Look.
Well, it's actually kind of nice because I can't.
It's getting all
so,
dirty.
So the D-pad doesn't work on this version or whatever.
A little bit.
So you can play with one hand.
Oh, she's not gonna land on those heels. Oh! How?
She's the best.
Are those faint tattoos?
Oh, taunt.
It's dirt, right?
Yeah, it's dirt.
She's a dirty girl.
It's funny to me that the last costume Adam picked was her in like a business suit.
Yeah.
Like, right,
That was on
and then-
accident.
And then he went to this, which is just like the smallest bikini in the world.
I don't know why, but Christine has always been my favorite character. I like her. I like
She
her.
hasn't been in the whole franchise.
God, I imagine
Oh,
every time
sorry.
she falls down.
Also, I call her
She's been
Christine
around.
too. She's Christy.
You got her name wrong.
No, in Dead or Alive 4, like I remember, I only played it because Master Chief. Well, female Master Chief was in it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, oh, I'll play it. Cool. And then
Could you put female Master
Christy,
Chief in a
Christy
bikini?
was like always like the most badass. I don't know.
Yep.
Bare ass.
I don't know.
No, she always had like an open.
I liked.
Imagine her waxing
Tina.
herself because she's
I like
hairless.
Tina not because she was the giant, marketed as like the giant big boobed one, but I liked her because she was a female character that did retardedly complex wrestling moves.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
and so she would be like power bombing people, and like, yeah, and she'd do the giant swing. She actually was a more interesting grappling character in a fighting game than Bass, I think is her dad, right? Bass.
Yeah, probably.
Seabass.
The big hairy guy.
And he was pretty boring in terms of a grappler. Anyway, that's it.
There's a story here.
Yeah.
He's got
Censorship.
done his street art.
Oh, what is she?
It's Banksy.
Fight.
Very proud of himself. Can we talk about something else?
So, well, I guess in conclusion, where do you guys land on? I guess there's another element to this discussion.
right.
A lot of people are kind of pissed at Nintendo of America for some interesting reasons.
Uh-oh.
They like will censor, air quotes, censor like Fire Emblem games and stuff. Somebody's underwear may suddenly have somebody's hand like in the foreground, so it's kind of covering it up. Most recently in what was it in not Xenogears, the other one, Xenoblade Chronicles X. There is a 13-year-old character who is suddenly wearing more clothes, and people on the internet are decrying
What the
censorship.
fuck?
How dare they?
Yeah, I think
I want my freedom back.
they also took out the boob slider from the Western release of the game, or I don't know if they took it out just from the Western or entirely.
Is that a boob size slider?
Yep.
Or?
You could make them big or small, and we all know what anyone would do. Any hot-blooded American. But they took it out. Now all boobs are medium-sized because Nintendo is fucking us again.
I prefer innies.
So, I guess
Thanks,
Backwards bra.
concaves.
I like. You
I want to pour milk in it and then drink it out.
Well, I just like this. Who's next?
It's like people are upset because they put clothes on her when she's 13. But when I was 13, I would like pour glue on my hand and peel it off for fun. Like no shit, they're gonna put clothes on her.
Wait, hold on. I don't know. Are you,
I see how
are you
those points are
saying that you
connected.
were a sexualized 13-year-old or a non-sexualized
Yeah,
13-year-old?
I was a glue baby, puffing and pouring.
Well, it's like, you know the movie Leon, or the Professional or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess like other people have talked about it, and you can't talk about this movie without sounding like a total creepoid.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, the original release, there's more of a sexual relationship between Leon and Natalie Portman. I'm like, the 10-year-old, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, but it's like implied. You're like.
It's really artistic.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the release that came out.
You're happy with censorship, Adam? You're pro censorship?
I don't need to see underage children nude.
What if that was his artistic vision?
Then he should go to jail. 'Cause-
And I really want to see it.
oh,
that was a sweet hit.
She's so gross looking.
God, they find ways to make
so
their
gross.
butts flap in the air. Also, I like how she just dusts herself off and then suddenly her skin sparkles.
Kind of. She's still got some Broke a sweat. Juggle trainee.
Juggle train.
Wait, are they referring to her fighting moves or?
Wasn't this the Dead or Alive where they were like, we're gonna make our girls sweaty? And like all the marketing materials showed like beads of sweat rolling down
That was
girls.
glue. I can confirm that was glue.
As a
Every
glue
young
baby.
girl goes through a glue phase.
They pour glue
Trust
on their
me.
chests.
That's what cut themselves.
One day I'll be a real woman.
I think we need a
There's a mom leaning in the door, just like shaking
we
her
need?
head.
we need to chill out about censorship. People need to stop crying censorship just when someone actively decides to change something about their game. I know Street Fighter V, people have been like
Oh, yeah.
pointing out, they're like, they changed the camera angle on Cammy's entrance. You can't see her vagina. I mean, Cammy, who is basically in a thong
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
has always been in the whole franchise, has an intro where she flips in and then slides, right? And in the official beta version of the game, like she slides in and the camera's there, so she basically slides right back, and
So
the
you just
camera
track right into her
it
vagina?
ends up, yeah, it ends up right on her vagina, and they move the camera forward like 6 inches now, so that
Right.
way she slides by. And people are like, where's the vagina gone?
Because they
Like,
kept having to clean the camera.
this is
much
right after
smudge.
people had
Damn
to,
it, Cammy, you're clamming up the camera.
This is right after people had to,
Camera.
like, were complaining about how her face looked too weird. Like they were like, yeah, they said Cammy's face looked weird. So
Make
they,
her
like-
beautiful.
Yeah. She's not as hot as she used to be.
It's a video game character. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, they
not
can
my
do whatever they can do whatever they. If the game had come out and then they patched it after the fact, then maybe that's kind of a weird thing. Sure, okay. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Hardcore on the devil side here.
All right.
If you were playing your whatever game,
Hell's name of
my
what is
3D
it?
fighting
Blazing Saddles. What is the game?
What?
Xenogears.
Xenoblade
Blazing
Chronicles
Saddles?
X.
There we go. If you're playing that game, and the 13-year-old character who is, oh wow, look at that, he's doing it again.
He's smooth criminaling you.
The 13-year-old character who you had grown quite accustomed to during your 100 hours of play was always notoriously in skimpy clothes, and then they released a patch that you had to install in the game that suddenly changed all her clothes to be less revealing. That's weird. It's like the game's already been out, whatever. But before the game comes out, they can do whatever they want to. You live in a world of globalization, so you can see what it looks like in Japan, and that's awesome. But when it comes to you, that's the game you're gonna get. So that's it. That's all. That's it. Stop jerking off to 13-year-old video game characters.
For the record, I like things that promote the advancement of women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
Like this?
Yeah, I was gonna
That-
say.
that
she's a
being
fighter.
said, there's pornography out there that objectifies men. We don't, watch it. Maybe, I don't know.
I like to think we are that.
But
Let him take your shirt off.
if you don't like the way something conveys something, ignore it. Like I don't play these games. Not interested. That's
Not
it.
crazy about
There you go.
fighting games though. Is it because there's so far Adam has fought a Little Red Riding Hood, what was it, Santa Claus girl,
Yeah.
and now a cheerleader, and Banksy, or what?
And he kicked all their asses.
Yeah.
Kicked all their asses, and he's in a bikini.
Eat vulva.
No, it's
All right.
empowering you. See.
Here's my advice to anyone who is worried about censorship in their video games or whatever. Just find the
You're an
character's
invite,
name.
bro.
Find the character's name. Google it. Boom. Someone else has already drawn something that goes far beyond what could have possibly been censored. That 13-year-old character from Guardian Heroes Blazing Force.
Xenoblade Chronicles
Um,
X.
That character, if you Google their name, I'm sure has been drawn naked 1,000 times on the internet. And you
Well-
could just jerk off to that. Perfect.
Twins. Yeah, I think James sent me like Overwatch Rule 34, and I was like, how did that game's not even out
Oh,
yet.
come on,
Oh,
you know.
okay, so-
like you've never taunted with Tracer.
In my defense,
Now I
I
know.
just Googled Diva, which is the character's name, to get an image
She's
of
in a
Diva.
fucking skin-tight bodysuit. It's like Ava.
And I didn't search for like Diva naked, Diva what? I searched for Diva, character's name, and like the fourth image were two other characters from Overwatch naked. And I was like, okay, well that
they
didn't
just standing
take
there,
long
like,
at all.
eating a
That was an
sandwich?
impressive amount of Rule 34.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I Rule 34 other characters.
Imagine when that game.
It's easy.
I was just saying, imagine when that game actually comes out. It's
Oh,
not even.
man.
It's not even like officially out yet, and people are already making
It's gonna
pornography.
be a
of it.
porno paradise.
It's weird too because that game has a very like Disney Pixar look to it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
real hot.
I mean, it's weird because it's not
Yeah, it's real sexy.
sexualized at
real
all.
sexy. I just can't
There's
think.
boob
I think
jiggle.
about nothing but vaginas in that game.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this jiggle 10 times now.
It's boring.
It's boring.
It gets
now.
better every time.
It's old fat.
All right, change character.
I need the tits to be bigger.
I'll change your outfit.
I've already built up a tolerance to these.
She's my girlfriend.
Plays the luchador girl.
Tina?
Actually, I like what's her face? Her. Ooh.
Sumi? Oh,
He's also in it.
Ew.
Ew, what a stupid outfit.
That's ugly.
Old school.
See, but we're judging him. He gets judged.
We're objectifying him.
Sure. That's a
I
thing.
think his tiny head looks stupid. Oh, it's a whole
Why is
body.
there a zombie on his back? Oh, it's from Yaiba.
Yeah.
That's a game that everyone remembers.
I didn't see.
I really wanted to play that, and then I didn't.
I thought it looked. I was in the
I played it at E3, and I had a lot of fun with
Me
it.
too, and I thought this looks like it'll just be stupid, mindless fun. But then I didn't. Play
That
it.
was the one where you
Nah.
play as like the ninja who's like the
Back-
other ninja.
Yeah, you
right?
get killed by
Back in the day.
Ryu in the intro of the game, and then you're a zombie ninja, and the entire goal of the game is to find Ryu and kill him because he killed you.
Sure. I heard it sucked.
See, it sounds petty now.
Yeah, saying it like that makes it sound
Well, I
not as serious as I
remember
thought it
the
was.
first trailer came out, and it was funny. Like they had a different voice actor, and he talked about something about like putting hot sauce on his balls or something. I'm like, that makes the child in me laugh. And then they changed the voice actor, and it wasn't as good.
Yeah, there was a part in the E3 demo I played where there's like this, you like drive this truck into a lingerie shop and it explodes, and then he just sits there and does like a Shawshank Redemption while burning panties like rain down on him.
Censor.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
Censor
what
that.
the fuck is going on? All right.
Who cares? Control doesn't fucking work.
Can I play?
Go nuts.
They could have put udders in
can't-
that cow costume, and they didn't.
Good.
Is that your official review, Elyse?
So
10 out of 10.
if you're concerned about censorship in your games,
Yes.
you can do your part and participate in the development of an actual video game with Lenovo Game State. We're actually participating in this program, and it's pretty cool. We got to go and meet the developers of Dark Rift, which is an upcoming tower defense game, even though it looks like it has some twists on that. Why can't you move? Oh. Yeah, these are some ex-Blizzard dudes, and we got to talk to them for a little bit about what they want to do. And essentially, the Game State program is you go to the website, you can check the description for a link there, but you can go and like basically talk directly to the developers. You get to like say what you think about all the assets they're putting in the game, about the story and stuff. I think let me check what the first. They like do it in phases. Right now, they're doing good guys, bad guys, and weapons. So essentially, you get to like vote on concept art, and they said that they actually do listen to the feedback because that's the whole point of the game, right?
Yeah, we're also doing a video series with them, so we shot the first episode there. And
Yeah.
I don't think we were kind of. Should I talk or not talk? I can
Absolutely,
I can talk
talk,
afterwards.
talk.
Oh yeah, no. I was saying it was actually kind of cool. Like I know we're doing a part of like an ad deal, but like it was really kind of fascinating to be involved with the development process and like kind of
Absolutely.
early on, and like I'm actually really kind of excited to see the game because they're going to take our feedback, which is kind of cool. They're like, yeah, be brutal. Like, tell us what's wrong. Tell us what's going on. And like, just to be involved, it's a strange thing to go from being a fan of video games to actually be involved with any sort of level of game development. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm excited to go back.
Yeah,
And,
for all the
yeah.
editorializing and like, I honestly do think it's
How
just
did you move?
You don't
stick.
move.
You moved. You moved.
No, there's no movement. You can't go left or right or anything.
Crane.
For all like the spirited discussion that happens around games and around censorship or whatnot, I think sometimes people lose sight of the fact that human beings make video games, and it's all a bunch of people that go into the office and put in a lot of hard work, and then this product comes out, and I think the human connection gets lost sometimes. So that's one of the things I really like about this program, is that you can go and talk directly to the human beings making this game, and if you routinely go on the internet and tell somebody that a game is pure bullshit, now you have the chance to say it directly to somebody's face. So maybe man up if you spit some game on the internet, and have some courage and get in there and join the conversation and maybe be constructive. Yeah, you can't move.
You can't move.
Use the stick.
Doesn't work.
That doesn't work either.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, have fun playing that video game.
How have you been winning so many matches?
I'm good.
Look at him. He's looping me.
One of the things I was like kind of worried about is that this program would like capture some junior developers who were just in it to get their game published, but that's not the case at all. These guys
No,
have,
these
like,
guys are veterans.
shitloads of experience. They worked at Blizzard for cumulatively like over 2 decades, and they have a lot of interesting stories and a lot of experience developing games. So just listening to them talk about the weird craft of game development is very educational. So
Yep.
if you guys have any curiosity about the actual nuts and bolts of game development, think this is a great way to learn about that stuff. So if you go to LenovoGameState.com, you can tell them your thoughts and suggestions for characters. Your input will allow you to collect badges and get on a leaderboard, if you're the type who enjoys gamification of all things. You can spread the word using the hashtag GameState and follow updates at Lenovo Gaming on Twitter. So stay tuned for GameState Update to see if your submission was chosen. And yet again, you can check the link in the description of this podcast to get involved with that program.
Please do.
Yes, it was actually really cool, and they gave us sandwiches.
Well, that's kind of our thing. Like, I mean, we have I always focus to say, I always make a very big point that we are not journalists, we're enthusiasts. That's because, like, I'm enthusiastic about game development. I don't want to make games because it looks like it's hard. It's a lot of hard work.
Well,
it's a lot of hard work
really
that doesn't.
thankless too.
Yep.
I think we're spoiled because we do like a third of the work of an actual game developer, and for some reason people like us more than the people who make the things that we play.
Yeah, the person who poured their like soul into this thing, and they're not going to get residual payment from this thing, or they don't get royalties off of something that makes $1 billion, and it's like it sucks, and it's kind of I like being able to talk to these people and be like, explain to me how game development works. And we were talking to a couple of the guys, and they were like, one of them was showing us like a water bottle, and he was explaining to us how like DirectX 12 worked.
Yeah, he was talking about like backface culling, basically.
And then I think Lawrence was arguing with him.
I wasn't arguing.
I'm just kidding.
I just wanted to understand more.
But still,
I'm gonna bring that up next time.
It was actually funny because he was explaining to us like why, like the reason why for a developer why DirectX 12 was like a legit deal. And when he was talking about how like it cut down on like memory,
the draw calls.
Yeah, and it was just like I like.
You weren't even listening at him. I was yelling at him.
Yeah,
I know.
I was more like embarrassed. I was like, should we get out of here?
Oh, it's fine.
Lawrence was yelling his agreement. Like, yes, DirectX 12.
No, he's like, I don't believe you.
I'm so robotic all the time that anytime I get remotely passionate about anything, people think I'm angry.
Yeah,
You're a bitchy yelling face.
I guess.
oh, that was a weird thing. Yeah, Lawrence kept telling him how Windows 7 is the best.
What?
I don't know.
Man.
I was just kidding. That didn't happen.
So weird to hear these entirely fictitious things after the fact. Well, speaking of journalism, Adam, journalism is back.
About time.
Yeah, it was gone, but now it's back.
Who brought it back?
Kotaku brought it back.
Yeah, they
Finally.
did.
So,
Docker blog Kotaku.
Yeah, despite my flip attitude, basically, here's what happened. Kotaku posted, or Stephen Totillo specifically, posted a really long, kind of self-congratulatory article talking about how Kotaku had been blacklisted by, was it Ubisoft and Bethesda, because they leaked marketing material and stuff ahead of date. At least that is Kotaku's version of events.
What does blacklisting entail?
Not getting review copies or responding to requests for comment.
Okay, so they're like every other human being on this planet.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, they've been busted down to normal person status.
Oh no.
If you wanna read it that way.
Yeah. So all these readers felt for them, right?
I don't honestly know, or I didn't really track the reception of the article.
I imagine people in the comments are like, yeah, I hate when I was blacklisted by Bethesda and I had to go out and buy a game for myself.
Well, so
honestly, most of the comments that I saw on there were in support.
Yeah.
Of them.
Well, because they delete anything that's negative.
Well,
I don't know about that.
That's
blind accusation.
I know they used to do that. Like, I know. Well, I know
That's
back.
still blind accusation.
No. I know. Back in the day,
point to anything.
I think pre-Totillo days, I do remember. Kotaku would just ban anyone who said anything negative. Like, we don't want you here. And it's like, well, now you're just.
I mean, it's more about asking
it.
your own community what they think. What do you think about what we're saying here? It's like, we agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, because you're here.
Yeah.
We've all been blacklisted by Bethesda before.
Yeah, we all know how it feels.
The difference is that they feel completely justified in their actions that led to it, which is
Debatable.
I mean, that's up for debate.
So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, just to frame it properly, basically, Kotaku, the article was basically saying, this is a consequence of what we did, and from Virtua Fighter?
Yeah.
Weird.
I got him.
Kira's in here. Kotaku's point was like, we did this stuff because we believe in journalism and we believe serving you and not the controlling interests of game development, like the publishers. And essentially, it's always been a tug of war between the two, especially when you have privileged information that could essentially damage or disrupt the marketing plans of a publisher if you leak that information early.
This was all being shouted as the sinkhole sucked them in, as they were falling, going,
all right,
hey.
we know where you're, we got it.
Yeah, sorry.
Settle down.
Yeah, blogs are the future, sorry.
So the interesting thing is, they're speaking to a paradigm that is not really around anymore. Not by my estimation, anyway. It has been our personal experience that you can leak information, but if you do it in the right way and do it responsibly, people don't hold too many grudges. Like, no one's happy about leaks. That is just shitty. It's pure shit. And I know that. People work for years to develop marketing plans, and just because someone happens to get a PowerPoint presentation before they're supposed to, suddenly all that work is blown.
Yep.
And that's a lot of real time and money that just got killed by somebody who wanted to leak information. We've done it. And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, because that would be the most hypocritical thing in the world. Yeah, the phrasing seems to be like, the subtext I read into the article was, the article seemed to imply that publishers should respect somebody's mouthpiece and their responsibility to reveal that information and not hold it against them. And furthermore, that the readership should pressure these publishers into respecting that as well.
There is no responsibility to leak information. It doesn't exist.
But journalism,
to me, in the case of someone like you guys take ownership and you take responsibility, and you know that there might be ramifications of what you do. The feedback I got from the article was a just lack of self-awareness of, we might do these things, but why are we getting, this reaction?
Yeah.
Well, the reaction was getting blacklisted by. They said something like, we don't get things anymore.
Yeah.
But they also have openly said, Kotaku, and this may have been Crescente, I believe, who started this, but he was saying, like, they're like, we don't go to preview events, or like, we don't go to review events, like, we don't take. It was this weird sort of thing of like, we don't.
Structoid?
Maybe I thought they all kind of become the same thing at some point, where it's like, we refuse to get flown out to an event because Capcom did a thing in Hawaii, and that goes against ethics. And I was like, I mean, do you see what we're playing? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, as long as I think you disclose this stuff and you're like, yeah, I got flown out for this event, and maybe you don't work in an industry where you have to attach a number to everything. I don't know, but like marketing companies and game publishers know what they're doing, and at the end of the day, they were saying, they're like, we don't like it. And then it's like, okay, cool. So you don't play that game. But then it's strange to act surprised when they're like, Bethesda didn't like that we leaked their stuff, so they didn't send us a free copy of a game. I'm like, all right, well then just play it like everyone else.
Yeah, that's my kind of big takeaway from it is, it's like, I get it. That's awesome. That's admirable that you want to do what you want to do there. And you should totally do what you want to do. I like reading Kotaku articles generally. I like the website. And I don't think that they are just the mouthpiece of a gaming industry, which that's a good thing.
Sure.
Problem is, when you're on the outside, that's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
You can either pick whether or not you want to be official Xbox Magazine or you want to be Kotaku. Official Xbox Magazine is probably going to get a ton of exclusives and a ton of things early, and they're going to get a ton of Xbox stuff. But if you're Kotaku and you're going to leak stuff, then you should plan, that should be your business strategy, is you're going to be this guerrilla outlet that does these things, that gets these leaks, and you might get them from other people within the industry, but you're probably not going to get them from Ubisoft PR. And I was even kind of like in our own perspective, we've watched Ubisoft's marketing strategy and PR shift just since we've been doing what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Like, now if you go to an event, they have an Elgato or some sort of capture device set up with a webcam, and they're ready to be there. Where do you want us to save the footage? Because those are the people that
they hand you a thumb drive now.
A thumb drive, but
it's amazing.
Those are the people that they're inviting to come play their games, because those are the people that I think they've done the math, and they're like, these are the people who have the loudest reach and the biggest voice that can tell what they think of our game.
Well, also we've also seen the shift where we've brought this up before, but like we used to go to these events, and you'd look over and you go, oh, official Xbox Magazine, Kotaku, Destructoid, and then it started becoming Angry Joe, T Martin, like CNNers, like it started just becoming YouTubers. And you go to any event now, like, or it was like a mix, and now you go, it's just YouTubers, and like we get invited to this sort of stuff, and like we're kind of this weird. We've been told by industry people like we're somewhere in the middle. Like they're like, yeah, you're kind of press, but you're not. You're kind of YouTube. So like, there's a lot of stuff that we just don't get invited to for obvious reasons, because like they don't know what the hell we are, and like that's fine because we have a show. I mean, I'm playing with a demo disk shard. Like, this is where we get our views. You know, like we don't need the newest, greatest games. Our business doesn't rely on that. And so it's like we go to this stuff for fun. We're like, yeah, we want to go play Rainbow Six early. Cool. or anything like. I think there's like, oh, I can't say. Never mind. Sorry.
Well, so that's
there's an event coming up, and I'm like, oh, it's a game I want to go play.
you hinted at something that I kind of said before, which is that the paradigm is different now.
Totally.
It used to be that outlets relied on access from PR companies, very timed and metered access, to make content. So if there's a new game coming out, you needed to write a preview for it, and people would read that preview, and the only way you could generate that content is if the company asked you to come and gave you permission to view and evaluate that content early.
Sure.
But then, like, something interesting happened with written, where, like, and to be very blunt, like, there was always this unspoken understanding that you don't go negative about something that's not fucking finished, because that's just rude as shit. Like, imagine somebody's working on a painting and you walk and you're like, painting looks like shit. You're gonna turn around and be like, it's not fucking done. So there were a couple of articles. I don't know that Kotaku was specific in this, but suddenly, like, I think 1UP specifically was one of them, but they were like, no, we're gonna start, like, if a game looks bad, we're gonna say it looks bad, like it looks troubling, even if it's not done.
Sure.
And I think that kind of kicked off a souring of relationships between PR and outlets, where suddenly outlets found resonance with audience by going negative. So suddenly they had to see sweaty.
That's milk.
It's glue. They had to earn.
Please be done.
They had to earn. They basically had to earn a new audience's respect by being a little more aggressive and a little like having higher standards, kind of.
Well, this goes back to like what James was saying about the Model T. It's like failing to see a paradigm shift and any kind of shift in the world and not adapting or adopting to that paradigm basically means you will die.
Well, sure, but this is how the paradigm shifted. Essentially, like, some blogs started going a little more negative, and then lo and behold, publishers were like, if you're just going to shit on our stuff, why would we want to be on your blog? That doesn't make any sense. And this is when it gets so good you can't even write it. So Penny Arcade ran a strip basically in response to the Kotaku article. And it was, God bless them, like, Penny Arcade's getting more and more kind of San Francisco intellectual as it goes by. So it was a little overwrought, but essentially it was like a parable of a dude walking and talking to a scorpion on his shoulder. And it was all supposed to symbolize the relationship between blogs and developers. Okay. Anyway, the thrust was, why would a publisher want to be on a blog if all that blog does is shit on their product? And to a degree, I can understand that. And I feel like you're also kind of caught between a readership that responds to negativity and theoretically a genuine like of the medium that you're covering. Also, Ethan James Petty, a writer for Ubisoft, a writer on Watch Dogs, says he kind of called them out basically. Kotaku never bothered contacting me before linking a SJW smear piece to my name. That's when I removed the bookmark. Essentially, basically, once Kotaku aired their grievances, a whole bunch of devs were like, fine, you want to go there? Like, it's Thanksgiving dinner, you want to air all this shit? Fine, here's all the problems I have with you. And essentially called them out on some, like, lax reporting practices they may have had in the past.
Sure.
Now, here's where it gets really cool. So Penny Arcade basically did this strip very intellectually decrying Kotaku. Kotaku does a weekly post where they post a bunch of webcomics. And lo and behold, that week didn't have Penny Arcade in it anymore. Ooh. And people were like, wait, why did you take their comic out? Mike Fahey, a writer for Kotaku, responded to the comment saying, we aren't blacklisting anybody. If interesting Penny Arcade news comes up, we'll report on it like anything else. I just don't see the point in featuring a comic on our website from creators who actively despise it. It doesn't make sense.
I know what you're gonna say. That's what they're complaining about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're complaining about.
Yep.
I don't. Oh my God, that's my problem. That's my problem. I totally admire what they're trying to stand for and say, but when you say it with this just blind ignorance to how stupid you sound.
Ooh, Mike's probably a very nice man. He eats a lot of snacks.
It's just like, how do you not see? How do you not see what that's exactly what you were just complaining about. It's exactly what you were just complaining about. Well, they just did to you.
To be fair, Totillo wrote it.
Totillo wrote the editorial.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's a website that's trying to say we speak with one voice, right? Like they're trying to. Stephen Totillo's the editor-in-chief, right?
Yes.
And so it's his job to kind of like construct. He's supposed to be the voice of the actual website. Like, that's generally the way things are designed. I don't know if they have it set up in such a way that anyone can just say whatever the fuck they want and no one has to talk to anyone. But
it was a comment. It wasn't like a. It was just he was just replying to a comment. So he was probably speaking with his own voice, and that's also a post that he puts together every week. So it's possible that Fahey made that decision and like even though it was kind of incongruous with the statement of the outlet or whatever. But it's conceivable that those two things happen separately of each other. But yes, it is essentially like.
Well, it doesn't seem like it to happen separately. It seems like he acknowledged the Penny Arcade article existing.
Yeah. And then decided
acknowledged
not to
that he
cover
didn't
it.
like how it portrayed their website.
Yep.
And that influenced his decision to not include them in his webcomic roundup.
Yep.
So that's all the pieces there. Whether or not he or Stephen Totilo wrote the initial article saying that they don't, not that they don't like being blacklisted, they imply that they don't like it.
Yeah.
But still, like it's the exact same thing.
Well, and
Yeah.
I also wonder if they would have attracted a better response from their community if they had posted it and then made some like self-deprecating remark with it. Or some kind of like, well, and yeah, now from our biggest fans, Penny Arcade.
Yeah.
You know,
That seems
kind of make them seem a little bit more not immature, but
Self-aware.
Yeah. Or maybe that it's all video games and none of the shit matters.
Yeah, well, yes, but I mean, that's a moot point basically. But like,
I'm a businesswoman fighting a soccer man.
It's funny with one button that works with the controller. By the way, only one.
This game's so fucking broken.
But yeah, that's it. That's what all they had to do.
Yep.
Was put a Penny Arcade article in there and go, and even some sort of like. It's high ground, low ground because it's like, well, we're better than this. But anytime you stand and you look down and you're nosing someone and say we're better than this,
That's when
congratulations,
everyone calls you out,
You
yeah.
actually aren't. But all you had to do was put a Penny Arcade article in there, and then be like, we acknowledge that Penny Arcade may not have felt the best about our article and responded in fashion, but that's not going to stop us from featuring their content on our website.
Well, and then you just start a heated internet rivalry with Penny Arcade and make that your new thing.
Yeah.
You guys
Play
compete in
Rocket
a
League.
skee-ball tournament or something, and you end it, and then it's done. Oh my God, that
Good shit.
More rivalries should be ended in skee-ball tournaments.
I agree.
just, God damn it!
You
You
guys
don't.
got a skee-ball lane at this office?
Not yet.
We're not.
working on that.
We're still working on getting a ping pong table. That's
Here's
the
a
first-
pro tip: you don't need to wear a sport coat to your job writing for video games. That's just my pro tip.
But if
for
you go
everyone
to
out
a
there.
PR event, you damn well better.
No, you don't ever.
Their little belly poking out.
Ever. You never have to wear a sport coat if you
have
write
bellies?
about video games or are involved in games media.
Ooh, open bar.
That's
Gotta-
just my pro tip. God damn it, please.
Little
just-
vampire
well,
lady.
Before
Yeah.
you leave for work, this is just everybody. This is everybody. Before you leave for work, just take 15 seconds and look at yourself in the mirror.
Oh, shit.
And just this isn't about Kotaku. This isn't about Penny Arcade. This isn't about an Ubisoft PR person who took Kotaku off their mailing list. It's not about them. It's about everybody. Just fucking look at yourself in the mirror for 15 seconds every single morning. And just go, this is who I am. And it'll open your eyes sometimes. It'll open your, maybe not every day, but maybe once every other week, you'll get a moment and you're like, oh, right. Okay,
I remember now.
I'm back.
Everyone should have to play a round of Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With only
Really
one
good at
button.
work.
Very sobering.
The right trigger
They
works
can't move.
great.
Yeah. Life is
Sometimes.
like a game of Dead or Alive final bout
Well,
or whatever this
my,
is called.
my favorite thing, like I remember
spider.
we were talking about the story I think last week, and I was like, I remember just seeing Lawrence get all heated, and the moment goes in my head where this game's so stupid. I had this moment where I'm like, this affects a total of 20,000 people
Yeah.
who are like interested in this thing. Like, not even like it barely fills a sports arena. Like the amount of people who like actually give a shit about this, because you really like you break it down, you're like. Blacklisting, web comics, like it's just like I look at it this way. Here's the top of the funnel: video games, and it just keeps doing this, and then this, and then this, and like we find this stuff interesting, but I realize it's a hobby, and we're like we have fun talking about it, but I'm just like, fuck me, like this doesn't matter.
Please.
Hey, man.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.
This is podcast content.
No, and it's fun. I think it's fun to talk about, but
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, I always think like, just look at the bigger picture. Like James is saying, like just look at the mirror and go, do I care?
This is who I am.
I'm a vampire woman fighting
I'm
a ninja.
probably going to be on this planet for at least another 40, maybe 50, 60 years.
If you're lucky, huh?
Let's just think about that. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on the time I have left. that's what I do.
I live in fear.
Constantly. Constantly.
I sleep at night and I'm like, Kotaku coming?
Kotaku coming for me.
Till's coming for me.
Oh boy.
I mean, but to your earlier point, though, I disagree. I see a shift in the game industry that is more sensitive to games and publishers, like the Destructoid article where they're like, we're not going to review events anymore. We don't think it represents the actual game because they give us a certain version of the game. They're there in case there are any bugs or anything like that. It's a very controlled environment. And I know a lot of websites, they withhold on their reviews more and more now. And especially with multiplayer. Like a lot of websites holding back their Halo multiplayer, holding back their Metal Gear multiplayer. So I don't know. I think people are kind of bending over a little bit more.
Well,
I think so.
Well, because game publishers are getting more picky, and there's like systems are like things that exist like Ronku, where it's like you're basically on the EA payroll to say nice things about EA games, and like people have chosen to do that. But at the same time too, like I am not going to a website to see if Fallout is good, other than YouTube. Like I'm going to go look up gameplay and be like, how's it run? How's it look? I'm not going to read words about it. Like the lighting as it hit the building as I walked out with my companion. I'm like, fuck that. No. Show me the gameplay. I want to see all the body outfits and all the weird things you could do in the game. Cool, there's gameplay. I think I like it. I'll buy it. That's my brain now. I'm not going to...
I think that's a lot of people's brains.
That's a lot of people. And so when I see an article come up and be like, we have been blacklisted, it's like, who fucking cares? Like, people won't be able to read in 10 years. Like, it's all...
Well, but
we're all getting dumber.
Even so, like obviously, editorial is still important.
How old
like,
are you, 40?
I'd like to think it's still important.
Reading's hard, Elyse.
Yeah.
You can still play Dead or Alive without being able to read.
I like to think editorial's still really important.
I'm a vampire fighting a cowgirl.
Metacritic is horrible, but it's also kind of an okay gauge at the same time.
Hold up, I need to clarify something real quick. It's not a cowgirl like a girl who rustles cows. It is a literal cowgirl. Like she's wearing a onesie with a cow print on it.
That is not a onesie.
I think there's still value into
that?
being like, all right, what do a bunch of outlets think about this game, right?
They're shorts.
Oh!
You got shot by a missile.
Thank
Poor
you,
cowgirl.
ISIS. Sorry.
And so that's Adam's quote. That's going on the box.
Put on Dead or Alive. Thank you, ISIS.
But I think there's value to that, but I don't remember what I was going to say.
I got something.
Because I got interrupted by a missile blowing someone up.
Blowing up the
Because
cow.
that's far more interesting than anything anyone could ever write.
So
I don't remember.
the evolution as I've seen it when it comes to like written and editorial content is, back in the early to mid 90s, everybody was trying to capture the young male audience. So they were trying to be cool and hip and relaxed and like your cool little older brother. But then as the readership grew up and that kind of informal tone left, like the vocal part of the audience demanded more like in-depth, more adult content, more like exacting content. And I think the writers kind of responded. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll be adult writers. We'll write introspective thought pieces. We'll write very heavily researched 5-page articles. And the whole hip bro dude with a skateboard who just tells you raps with you about a video game kind of went away. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think once writers prop themselves up to be, yes, we're professional writers, we're professional adult writers, then suddenly the standards that the audience demanded from them started to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I think that's when now you're starting to see people withhold reviews because the last thing a written article can do is be wrong, be dead wrong, because then you lose your clout and the audience suddenly leaves but you're catering to the most demanding audience in the first place. And that happened because you listen to your audience, which is an understandable mistake to make. For us at least, we strike this tone we strike because it's fun. More people like it, and also because one of the good side effects of it is if you get something wrong, you can just be like, oh, I guess it's just about video games, and I got something wrong. Sorry, bro.
Well, I've said this before, but I think we need to take a break from games. We as Funhaus.
No.
And just cover golf.
Ooh, I like that.
Not
golf games, just golf.
Just golf. Like golf or like fishing enthusiasm, something like that, where it's just
No.
Spool, I need you to finish that video. That's good.
It's absolutely not
hey,
done.
Get off your phone.
I already heard Bruce tell Spool that he can't leave tonight until the video's done. Spool's like, okay.
He turned to me and he's like, Elyse, take an early one. Spool.
At least you're doing a good job. You can leave.
Finish what you were saying, and then I gotta say what I was gonna say real quick.
Anyway, I'm just saying as much I do love video games. I think video games is it's one thing that someone asked on the subreddit recently. They were like what do you guys do when games aren't fun anymore? I'm like, God forbid that day ever happens. I legitimately enjoy getting away from our day to day and just playing something like playing Overwatch and not having to be recorded and just be able to like have fun. It is an escape for me. I enjoy it more than movies. I enjoy it more than books. I enjoy it more than any other medium in the world. So I never want it to not be fun. I just wonder if other people, other enthusiasts have the same sort of feeling where like, all I think about is golf and fishing. Those are my biggest hobbies. And like, did you see what this writer said? Like, Sports Pro blacklisted them because they said something bad about their latest driver. And I was like,
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
does it? I don't
shit
know.
absolutely
I kind of want to dive into that world just to see.
Here's the thing.
Undercover piece.
Real quick, football is just a hobby for, like, it's just a hobby for
Fantasy football.
most people. But think
Joke
about
the turnout.
how intense and how angry and how, like,
Well, I've seen people
ESPN is one of the largest channels in all of cable. And it is devoted to sports, which honestly is no different than video games in a lot of senses.
It's hard. That's a hard comparison. Maybe it's closer because sports to me, in my what I've seen, I'm not a huge sports fan, but like that seems to be more universally loved just because of things like soccer or football, wrestling around the world, or American football, whatever. Like that is loved by so many people and has existed for thousands of years in some sort of form. Like, whereas video games are fairly new, and to me has always been kind of a niche thing. And but it seems to be like
American football was only formalized in like the last 100 years or so. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying like people get shot in the parking lot because someone disagreed with somebody. Like, I'm just saying, fuck you.
You have been to Dodger Stadium.
What? I have.
Anyway,
been.
I was just gonna say.
I don't know.
In terms of like back to the like, what does it mean that we can't get a game? What does it mean for editorial and all kinds of stuff like that? I think it's like, if I understand editorial still is a thing, but you still have to have your own voice. You still have to have a reason for people to want to go to Kotaku to read their review on a specific game, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of very important. And so if you get to that point where you have to get your review up 2 days before the game comes out for people to be looking for it, that is not good. Like, from a business standpoint, from an editorial standpoint, that's not good. You want to, if you have to get the game on the day it comes out and then your review comes out the next week, then you should still be writing reviews that have your voice and have your imprint on it enough that people want to come and find it.
Well, that's like in the YouTube certification thing. One of the things they ask is one of the dumbest, like, easy questions, but they're like, is the point of making a video to go viral? And you're like, absolutely not. Like, no, you shouldn't aim to go viral.
Yeah.
Because that's not a business plan. It's not a business.
It's a business advantage, but
Sure.
like,
but like
I'm gonna go to the hood and make out with a girl, and it'll be a prank video.
nice. Nice.
Where are my viral money?
We're starting a new channel.
Yeah.
But no, it's like you should
That'll
just
be a break from gaming.
Golf pranks.
We'll go make out in the hood.
you should figure out what you like doing, and if it brings in an audience. If people are like, it's not bringing an audience, it's like, well, maybe you're doing something wrong. Like, no, everyone else is wrong except for me. Like, that's healthy.
Yeah. Well, I think, Adam, essentially what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that written editorial got pretty templatized, and everybody started doing the same thing because they saw it working for everybody else, and nobody really tried to push the boundaries and find a new kind of content that resonated with people, because that's hard. And I think there are some people who genuinely like writing about games, but I think most people that are in games writing just really wanted a job that had something to do with video games, and writing was the thing that they could land on.
Possibly. I don't know. Like, it. I don't know.
That's where I'm at.
I'm saying that we need fewer Totillos and more Totil bros.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How long were you thinking about that? You're just sitting
20
there.
minutes.
As soon as the
Before-
podcast started, you're.
I started biting your lip and
Right, you
vibrating.
showed up today.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know what we were talking about, and I woke up this morning. and
You're in the
said,
shower.
Peeled the glue off your arm.
Could not sleep last night.
Totil
bros.
nose, Totil.
I'm just saying.
Toes?
I'm like, just look at what the audience wants. That's ultimately like, look at the landscape. What's happening? People are reading less and they're watching more videos. YouTube's only getting bigger, and
Kotaku's highlight reel.
What is it? Grantland shut down. Like, look, when magazines started going away, did someone go, we should start a video game magazine? Like, no, they all moved to blogs.
Some people did.
It did not go well.
Yeah.
Did not go well at all.
Now.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, that was not the smart businessman. I don't know. Like, it's sort of like the G4 thing, where G4 happened at this perfect moment where it could only go wrong. They were like
Little pumpkin heads.
Well, it's pretty cute. It was right before like internet video became a thing, and some guy said, you know what needs to be on TV? Video games. And it was like, you couldn't be further from the truth, but he couldn't see that coming because of how big YouTube and gaming and all that stuff like basically became. But like, fuck, what a bad business move. Like, people who play video games do not watch television, especially on a weird channel that they don't get. Like, it just kept cutting it down. Like, you gotta look, where are the people at and what do people want?
They want this podcast to be over because we had an hour.
Possibly, maybe. I don't know. It's like, look, the mattress salesman will always have something to sell because everyone needs to sleep.
That's a great thing to say.
Put it on the box.
Yeah, put it on the box with that other quote
Thank
about
you,
ISIS.
Thanks for the
Now I'm
mattress,
gonna get
ISIS.
quoted.
Oh, great.
Oh boy.
And thanks everybody for listening. See you next week.
Hey,
Bye,
Lee.
everybody.
Hey, Elyse,
Sorry.
good job.
I think we worked through a lot of issues today.
I think so.
I feel good.
I need to sleep better. Oh, Assassin's Creed is done.
Oh, all right. There's only one button that works for this game.
That game
Can
was-
we figure out why that happened?
So you can masturbate.
Oh, hi there. You like what you see? Well, you can get all this and more November 23rd through the 30th at the Rooster Teeth store, where everything's 15% off.
The holidays are here, and we can't think of anything more that your friends and family would like more than this.
What's on your Rooster Teeth wish list this year?
My mom wants a new microwave.
Shut up! Are you not sure if your loved one's an extra large or an extra extra large? Then get them a gift card instead. Or don't, whatever.
November 23 through 30th, it's 15% off at the Rooster Teeth store. So model!
And you think I'm sex? Come on, baby, let me know. I dropped my socks.
Ooh.